Hello everyone, I hope that you're doing well today. This video piggybacks off of my last video in which we talked about how one comes to lose themselves in a narcissistic relationship. And today we're talking about how we can explore our authentic self and align with our authentic self. I do recommend watching that last video first. It talks about relationship dynamics that bring us to lose ourselves, like projection and copying and mirroring, and building awareness of our negative qualities due to someone pointing them out, pointing out the negative qualities in others, us coming to isolate ourselves from others and from the world, and us walking on eggshells, people pleasing so as to avoid rage and be responsible for other people's happiness. All of which distances ourselves, from our truth, from speaking our truth and living our truth. And that, my friends, leads us to not be very happy. So today I'm sharing a couple practices that can hopefully help you close that distance from yourself to yourself. Be more yourself and therefore be happier and healthier. But before I jump in, I do want to say a couple other introductory things. First of all, hi, I'm Allison. I grew up in a dysfunctional family, and I make videos about my upbringing and how it had a negative effect on my mental landscape, my physical health, my relationships, my finances, everything. There are good parts about my past and about my present, but I just tend to focus on what was negative because that's just what we do here. And then how we can become our best self and be resilient, proactively take responsibility for our lives, be compassionate, and be happy. So that's what I do. This is my kitty Pharaoh. In last week's video, like I already talked about, I brought a plant, that plant right there, that Monstera boy, and was pruning a little bit, bringing the aerial roots from the outside of the pot into the inside of the pot. It's working. Kind of make a little adjustment to help bring it up a little bit more today. Anyways, I brought another plant, a little coleus. He used to be a little coleus. Now he's a big coleus. And he's cool. He propagates really easy. You can just take a snip and put him in soil and he'll just grow into a whole new plant. It's very cool. Very resilient plant right here. And today I brought him to prune him because he could just do a little bit of trimming so that he can put more energy elsewhere and grow in different directions, which is kind of what we're doing, what I'm sharing about us doing today, which is kind of cool. But that's why I've got a plant here. Did I already tell you this is Pharaoh? I have another kitty, Lucy, and my favorite show growing up was Gilmore Girls, and I found this at a thrift store when I was there with my client the other day. My one client that I work with is obsessed with coffee mugs, just loves all the coffee mugs. I work with individuals with special needs, and I found this. It says Luke's Diner, Stars Hollow, Connecticut, and oh my gosh, it was just the best find in the world. And I'm drinking coffee. I love coffee out of a cup that is resonant of the show that probably planted the seed of my love for coffee in my brain and heart, in my soul. So that's just really cool. Cheers. It's pretty funny that my favorite show growing up was one about a really supportive and loving relationship between a mother and daughter. I'll just say. But okay, I think that's enough introductory stuff to share with you today, and I'm ready to get in the video. Are you? So first I want to share 2 virtues of, what was that? One sec. Okay, I'm not sure what that big sound was, but we're just gonna move on. The first thing that I want to share with you today are the 2 overarching themes of resilience, which is moving from some sort of adversity in your past towards being healthy and happy in the present. The overarching themes that I keep in mind all the time, and I want to encourage you to keep in mind at all times as well, are alignment and patience. So the first, alignment, speaks to the fact that happiness and health looks different on everybody. Inside, what you want, what will make you happy and healthy is different than what will make me happy and healthy. And so rather than looking outside of yourself and seeing what you think will make you happy, look inward and really feel through your moment-to-moment experience, this makes me happy. That doesn't make me happy. And I pointed over here at first just to reference nothing, just reference towards something outside of myself. But what's weird and uncanny and ironic is that what is over here is my mirror. And I was just inspired to think about the fact that, like, what you see, like looking at yourself from this reflection, that is not happiness. Like, that's not alignment. Is okay, if I look a certain way, that will be aligned and happy and healthy. Rather, when you're closing your eyes, not looking at a reflection, not looking at yourself through anyone else's eyes, through your own eyes even, embodied feeling, like what makes you really feel good. That's what matters, is when you're just alone with yourself, not looking at yourself, not anyone else looking at you. How do you feel happy and healthy? That is alignment. And the second virtue of resilience is patience. A couple of these practices I did 5 years ago. And I wrote down a lot of things that I really wanted. And then I wanted to do them like that. And that's honestly quite hard to do if you're going from, for example, a SAD diet, a standard American diet, to wanting to be gluten, processed food, and sugar-free, vegan. Like, that's a pretty big leap to make. And so having patience and taking it slow, trusting that you're going to make one step that feels like more within reach to you, and take that step over and over and over, and then have that become a habit, integrated part of your life. And then you're going to take another step forward and take that step a few times and let that integrate into your life. And over time, like over years, with patience, you will align with what you want. That is the second virtue of resilience. And I like to use the phrase micro speed, macro patience. So day to day, micro speed, do what you can, little by little, again and again, to align, while having macro patience, knowing that you're not going to go to the gym today, work out, wake up tomorrow and be like a beast mode activated. But if you keep going to the gym for weeks and for months, you will feel stronger, and you will be able to look in the mirror and see results. So you'll feel stronger, you'll see how it's affecting your life, and it will all spill over. Like, every little thing that you do will butterfly effect change your life. And what I am really advocating on this channel and in this video is to build awareness and set your sights towards where you want to go, and let every action you make, butterfly effect, change your life in a positive direction, in the direction that you want to go, rather than this autopilot direction of maybe what other people want for you, and just like whatever direction you have already been going in. Yeah, like unaware, just unconsciously butterfly effect changing your life for whatever way it is deciding to go that day. Like instead, letting your inner compass guide you in the direction that you are consciously choosing. So those are the two virtues of resilience: alignment and patience. And I'm going to share 2 practices to gain awareness of where you are and where you want to go, and then some tips for how to make progress from this point A to this point B that you are setting today. So the reason for these 2 practices is, imagine going to a restaurant and saying, I want a sandwich. Okay, the waitress is going to be like, or the waiter, sorry, that was gender stereotypical. They're going to ask you, what kind do you want? Because you have to be specific when you're ordering a sandwich. Otherwise, you're going to get some random sandwich. And if you're picky, like me, you're not going to like it, you know? And we all should be picky when choosing what kind of sandwich we are going to eat, because we all deserve to have the sandwich of our dreams. Okay, that's symbolically what I'm talking about with these practices here. These practices are getting to Mercury retrograde, These practices are to gain awareness, super detailed clarity on where we are, what sandwich we are currently eating, and where we want to go. What sandwich is the sandwich of our dreams? And by sandwich, I mean life. Okay? So the first practice is an audit. a 7-day audit, ideally, to capture what your typical week looks like and your weekend looks like. What you want to do is audit how you are spending your two most valuable resources: time and energy, and also money, because money is a form of energy. But where you're spending your time and where you're spending your money is going to give you a really clear picture of what your current values are. And that's going to be kind of like this sandwich symbolism. Like, you're probably eating some random sandwich, aka spending your time and money in places where you're not really happy you're spending them. I mean, sorry to assume the worst in you. Maybe you're doing better than I'm giving you credit for. But you're probably going to notice some areas where you're eating potato chips when you want to be eating carrots and hummus. You know what I'm saying? So audit where you're spending your time and energy and your money. And those are your current values. And I also like to use a symbolism. Imagine that you get 100 energy points in a day. Like, how many energy points are you spending looking at your phone when you could be proactively working on your health or your career, your dream career that you want to make, or like a piece of art if you love making art, or going out and enjoying the sunshine because you like sunshine? How many energy points in your head are you using to beat yourself up when you could be using those energy points to build yourself up, to nurture yourself? How many energy points are you using in relationships to pick on another person rather than empower them, rather than get to know them, rather than develop a really intimate and strong relationship with them? What are you using your 100 energy points for? That's it for the first practice. It's really a lot more intense if you do it in a really in-depth way than the simple explanation that I'm providing for it. But even if you do it for one day, it'll give you a really good idea of your values right now, your current values and your current lifestyle. And if you're like me, you're probably going to be a little unhappy with yourself. Like, oh, that's how I'm spending my time and energy? Oh. So, let's not wallow, shall we? Let's take proactive action forward into creating the sandwich of our dreams. And first, we got to clarify what that sandwich looks like, and then reallocate our energy points from crappy bag of potato chips to carrots and hummus. I hope that you're following along with all of these metaphors that I'm throwing at you. So this second practice that I want to share with you is becoming very, very clear on what you want, what your ideals are, your desires, your dreams, your goals are in each aspect of your life that I'm going to list for you here. So make a diagram, a grid, make 8 boxes on a piece of paper, and in each box write physical health, mental landscape, emotional experience, spirituality, education, career, relations, and home. You're going to get clear on what ideally in your dream life each of these would feel like and look like. And I'll give you a couple examples just to expand your mind about what you may be thinking about in these areas, because I think also something to think about is don't constrict yourself when thinking about these ideals. You know, shoot for the moon and you'll land among the stars. Like, dream big. And then micro speed, macro patience. Little by little, day by day, what's it within reach? But ultimately, keep in mind, where are you going? Like, what is something really inspiring that you are actually divinely driven and inspired to move towards? So, some examples, just to expand your mind, are in my physical health, I used to want to change my diet and how I'm feeling, like strong and just energetically wanting to move my body and do things. But lately, in 2021 in specific, a goal of mine is to embrace and embody my femininity. So show that side of myself. Feel that side of myself. Live like that a little bit more than I have been in the past. In my mental landscape, I like that little phrase, mental landscape, because if you were to picture a landscape inside your mind, what does it look like? And what do you want it to look like? Is it nurturing and loving and like full of flowers? Or is it kind of desolate? Is it dark? Is it gloomy? Is it like stormy? Do you want to look like a clear, sunny, blue skies, no clouds, mental landscape? That's more so what I'm thinking. And also, is it empowering? Like, I think that's a big part of mental landscape, is whether you are beating yourself up or building yourself up. Emotional experience. Are you emotional? Are you denying your emotions? Are you numbed from your emotions? Are you completely overwhelmed by your emotions? Do your emotions sway you? Do you want to become stronger emotionally so that you can feel your emotions deeply but still be like a sturdy, strong tree, like a really empowered, strong tree, so that you're not like swaying in the wind like a flimsy, plant? Also, do you want to be like overall more happy than you are sad? Do you want to be more inspired? Do you want to just be like chill, like constant, rather than up and down? Spirituality is, to me, meaning a lot of trust, a lot of connection, education, career. I once heard from 2 different people, someone who wanted to stay in school forever. Like, ideally, they would have enough money and have a career that made it possible for them to just stay in school forever because they wanted to continuously learn. And someone else said to me that they want a career that they love so much that they don't want to retire from it. Or do you dream that you have a career that provides you with a pension later on so that you can retire? What is your ideal education? Do you even want one? Do you want to be self-taught? Do you want to go to more of a trade school? And in your career, what will light you up? I think that the phrase, if you love what you do, you won't work a day in your life, is a little far out. Like, no, I think that you're going to have to work sometimes. But, what will you be happy doing? I personally don't like working for others. Like, I want to work for myself and create something for myself. And I want to heal people. I want to be creative. And I want to do a variety of things. YouTube is one of them. Coaching is another. Counseling. And I also want to do art in some form. Probably tattooing. But also, micro speed, macro patience. I'm focusing on one before another. And trusting that there will be time to put towards these other careers that I want, So, in relationships, how are you showing up in relationships? How are you feeling in relationships? Are you feeling jealous? Are you feeling afraid of abandonment? When you fear abandonment, when that gets triggered within you, how are you reacting? And how do you want to react? Do you want to be just more chill and calm and loving and compassionate, understanding of what another person is going through, and curious for the other person? Relations in your home life. What do you want your home life to be like? Obviously safe. Feeling really safe and secure there. Have it be your safe haven. I just think that's something that everybody should strive for in their life and deserves. But then what else? Like, do you have roommates? Do you not? Do you have a romantic partner that you live with? Do you have animals? Do you have plants? What's the color scheme? What's the vibe? What's the aesthetic? Do you have friends coming over? Do you host fun events or just really warm, cozy events? Or are you like more of an isolated person and you just want to be alone for a while, and just enjoy yourself? What do you want? Okay? What do you want? Ask the waiter and the waitress of the universe for the sandwich of your dreams, specifically, and they will bring you what you want, rather than some weird autopilot made version of a sandwich and a life. So those are the 2 practices. First, a self-audit, and second, an ideal list of what you want. So how do we move from A to B? The first tip that I have for you in making this transition is to be really honest with yourself. Be honest about what is actually happening in your life, what the real sabotages that are keeping you stuck in your life are, when they happen and why they happen, what makes you happy and what doesn't make you happy, and what you actually do want. Separate of what other people want and what other people want for you and what other people think is best for you, what do you think and know is best for you? Only you know that. Be really honest, and then also be honest with others. Be honest with others on if something that they're asking of you or a way that they're treating you is not in alignment with where you're headed in life. Be honest with them and live according to what is in alignment for you. If it's not in alignment for you to partake in a certain kind of relationship dynamic, with grace, retire from that role so that you can put that energy, invest those energy points elsewhere, in relationships, in activities that will build you up and allow you to find new relationships and activities that will be in alignment for you and really empower you and make you happy. My second tip for you is to first focus on what you can do for yourself rather than ideals that require another person involved. So I know that a lot of us desire connection and intimacy and love. That's totally natural, totally valid. But focusing on feeling good yourself is just crucial. And a reason why is because, first of all, we have no control over others. And so if we're just waiting for another person to show up and fulfill our needs, we're giving our power away. We're focusing on what is outside of our control. And so we just always got to focus on what is in our control, and that is our own actions. And also, a lot of things that we want and need, like relationships, kind of require us to be in alignment and be sort of healthy in ourselves, because if we're coming from a place of being totally not confident in ourselves and just like hating ourselves, and then we want to be in this really loving relationship of any kind, a friendship or a romantic relationship, we might just self-sabotage and hold ourselves back from those relationships, lash out at another in unhealthy ways that we are, and maybe not be able to show up in the ways that we want to. So I'm thinking physically, like with physical intimacy, that may be something that you desire, but if you're not confident within yourself, it's going to be really hard to show up in an intimate way that is going to make you aligned, fulfilled, happy, healthy. So first, focus on feeling good within yourself, okay? And also, that is just within your control, and it adds self-trust. So if you know that you're going to show up for yourself and take care of the basics, you will gain trust in yourself, you'll gain confidence, and you'll align in other areas that will seep into other areas of your life and bring alignment there as well, into other areas of your life that require external cooperation rather than independence, interdependence. A third tip for you is to first focus on the very core basics. So thinking of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I'm sorry, plant, but I think you're beautiful. You don't need much pruning. I'm not really paying attention to this guy, but I like the foliage in the foreground of the video. I think it's cute. I think it's fun. You're gorgeous. I appreciate you, and so you're allowed to be here. You're invited. You can stay. Okay, but I'm not going to prune it. I'm just going to talk to you today. Maslow's hierarchy of needs starts with physiological safety. So you need a shelter where you feel safe in, which means that you need a job so that you can provide for yourself and get into an environment in which you can feel safe, okay? And you can provide yourself food and gas and a car for transportation and a phone for communication, okay? That seems like physiological safety needs. And then there's physical needs, and that's feeling healthy. Basics for your health include taking vitamins, okay? And I just cannot adequately express how much taking care of these basics changes how you feel and what your entire life feels like. The basics are getting enough sleep, getting enough water, taking vitamins, eating well, and moving your body. Emotional intelligence is another basic need, I think, but that's kind of another shebang that's helped by these physical basics. If you take care of these basics, you're already going to be like on the right track, like really expansively, exponentially on the right track towards resilience. Focus on those and really make those like your only priority for a day in the beginning. Under-promise yourself by saying that, okay, I'm just going to take care of the basics today. Everything else is extra. And then over-deliver. And if you feel like you have the energy and the capacity to do more for yourself than just these basics, over-deliver for yourself and make more progress towards alignment. But I really advocate for putting those basics first, taking care of yourself in those regards, and that'll help you in every other area. The fourth tip I have for you is to plant seeds rather than pull weeds. So when something in your current life isn't aligned with what you really want, rather than trying to pull that weed of I'm doing this and I don't want to be doing it, and like trying to pull the weed in your garden of your life per se, plant a seed of what you'd rather be doing instead. Rather than focusing on your weaknesses and trying to, delete those out of your life, add good things into your life. Plant seeds and let those just fill your life so that there's not as much room for the bad stuff, as that there's so much good stuff happening that you won't want the bad stuff anymore, and it'll just more naturally fade away. And the last tip that I have for you, the 5th tip, is to use the phrase, let me think about it, as your new magic wand. I'm imagining like placing a spell and it going like shimmery sounds in the background. Other people asking things of us is a direct question, asking us to make a choice, make a decision. And with every decision we make, we have a choice to choose autopilot, choose, not really thinking about consciously aligning with what we want, or choosing resilience, choosing alignment. Using the phrase, let me think about it, takes yourself just a step back from unconscious autopilot living and decision making and interaction with the world into observer mode, where you can make a more conscious decision, a more aware decision of, actually, that looks kind of like potato chips, and I want to choose carrots and hummus today. Let me think about it so I can make a more aligned choice. When interacting with others and even with yourself, like if you're like, what the heck am I supposed to be doing right now? Like, I want to make all these changes. Where do I start? Let me think about it. Step back. Don't get so, caught up in whatever mental landscape processes you're used to. Instead, take a step back. Think about it. Make a conscious choice. Okay, so that's all I have to share today, but let's go back and recap. The 2 virtues of resilience are alignment and patience. 2 practices to explore your authentic self are a 7-day audit and an ideal list. And tips for going from A to B are be super honest with yourself and with others. Focus on what's inside your control first, rather than what's outside of your control. Take care of the basics and let the benefits from taking care of those overflow into other areas of your life. Focus on planting seeds rather than pulling weeds. And your new magic wand is let me think about it. Thanks guys for watching. I hope that this video was really valuable for you. Let me know if it was in the comments below. Give it a like if it was as well. Please subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell button next to the subscribe button. Check out the links below if you want to show some tangible support through buying me a coffee or working with me, so I can tangibly support you. And that's it. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Take care until then. Peace.